Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with my friend Zoilita Grant. Hi, Zoilita.
Hi, Kathy. It's so great to see you.
Oh, yes, I'm so excited. I want everyone to know what you're doing because I think this is the time, 2025, this is the perfect time to discover all of the resources that you offer and to make up your mind to show up as a servant leader, as a conscious business, as all of these changes are happening in the world. Would you agree?
Absolutely. You don't have to be fully involved in astrology to just have some basic ideas, and the basic ideas are we are in the age of Aquarius. And in order to really amplify and anchor this in, we have to start living it. We have to live lives that are full and rich and abundant and prosperous. And unfortunately, many people that are spiritually called have blocks against receiving. We know how to give, but now we are called to receive. Because the more that you open yourself to the full abundance of the universe, the more that you bring light into the world. It has to come from the inside out in order to change exterior reality. Don't you think so, Kathy?
Yes, yes. I think that what we're seeing too is the awakening of people that are highly sensitive. They're really trying to go do the inner work because they're seeing that they're getting triggered here and there, or they can't use their old way of interpreting their reality. If you're highly sensitive, you've had your consciousness expanded and walking through the world, sort of feeling it out and responding to it. But now it's too much. There's too much in the field. Do you agree?
Absolutely. And this is the critical thing to be aware of. In order to change the external reality, we cannot really take energy from external reality. We have to take it from inner reality.
Perfect. Okay. So we're talking about reality creating, and we're talking about stepping up into your power as a reality creator consciously, where
Yes.
you see what you like and what you don't like, and you do something about it rather than stuff it. How could you share a little bit about that, about the past shames or traumas, how people are carrying them along as a steamer trunk with them?
One of the reasons that I believe so deeply in the whole process of hypnosis is that it is the most effective way of getting into the subconscious mind and clearing the junk that's there. Because the reality is being present, being in the present moment is always your point of power. But when you have accumulated stuff from the past, it bleeds into you and it contaminates your ability to hold higher frequencies. It's all about frequency and energy and intention. And if you allow yourself to manifest the energy of the outer world in the next few years, it's going to really throw you out of balance. So you have to have this inner work.
Well, I think it's already throwing sensitives out of balance. A lot of people that I've talked to are talking about feeling like they're ADHD, where the outside and the frequencies of fear and confusion are so powerful in the global consciousness that people can hardly focus on what they're here to do. Do you so you do hypnotic coaching, and you have a beautiful site, zoilitagrant.com, that allows people to pick and choose recordings if they want, which are very affordable, to um, to release any specific thing they know of, right? So why don't we start with that so people understand the history of how you built that huge school library first, so that they could get an idea of how that you're a great resource.
So hypnosis changed my life. When I was 16 years old, I weighed 265 pounds.
Wow.
I could barely walk up a flight of stairs. In 2019, I climbed to Machu Picchu, and today I weigh 115 pounds. Using hypnosis, I taught myself how to release 150 pounds in a year. Changed my mind, changed my life. That became the slogan of my entire life. And so over the course of time, I learned that the whole power of what it is that people do is really controlled by the subconscious, which is 85% of the mind. And so I developed very simple and easy techniques that allow the subconscious to let go of all of that stuff. You might think of it as like decoding and recoding. You know, in order to be able to live in the new age, the age of consciousness, you have to be able to have higher frequencies and have let go of the past. The easiest way to do that I know of is through the process of hypnosis. And so all of the programs that I give, like the classes that I give, like the one I have coming up in Boulder, the Mindset for Prosperity, all of those classes involve teaching people how to use the power of their mind to clear stuff from the past and to reset their mind to a more positive future.
So I can vouch for the quality of the work. I've had past life readings with Zoilita. I've had other hypnotic sessions with her. I still listen to some of them. Every once in a while, I'll go, I have one that's to get new clients. And so I use that one every once in a while. Also, clearing out your house. There's one for releasing and letting go. And boy, a lot of us need that one.
Yes.
So Zoilita realized that there was a need for this in the marketplace. She started doing this, what, 35
I've
years?
been working for 50 years.
50 years. Oh my gosh.
Years in the field of human development and growth.
Well, it's amazing the work that you have. I just want to make sure that people realize that there are so many ways for very little cost and very little time spent for them to really change their life for the better, and that they are in control. They're not a victim of all of this. They may have been misguided that they were a victim, but they are not. And so you've gone through lots of things where you lost your husband, you still kept going, and that's when I think you designed the Hypnotic Coach. You had already been teaching people internationally how to do hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapy right now, how is that different than what Bruce Lipton's doing and some of the other Joe Dispenza, they're doing meditations? How is that different?
There's a lot of difference in labeling, but I think it's really important to understand what the difference is between therapy and coaching. You know, I spent 35 years as a therapist. I was educated at the University of California at Berkeley and the University of Texas. And I really got a lot out of helping people do that. But at a certain point, I began to feel that therapy, in a lot of people's cases, was limiting because it made people feel that there was something wrong with them.
Mm.
Coaching goes in the other direction. Coaching doesn't focus on the past and how you got to where you are. Coaching focuses on where do you want to go? And instead of looking at things as mental health problems, I prefer to look at them as missing skills. Missing skills. You don't know how to form healthy relationships. You don't know how to take personal responsibility. And so by learning new skills and clearing the junk out of the subconscious mind, I have found over the course of time that my clients have extraordinary transformations in their lives.
So I do too. I think that it's quite amazing how fast things can change by using the soothing sounds of someone else's voice guiding you. And what's amazing is that you go to a peaceful, calm place where you can actually decide. Right now, with all the exterior noise and the trauma that is available every second of every day because of the internet, there's so much fear in the air that it's hard for you to center and get internal. And so this is a type of calming device that allows you to get recalibrated, right?
I believe that when you are in that place of presence and connection and flow, you have the ability to access divine energy.
That
And
makes
when
sense.
that divine energy comes into you, you have the ability to affect the world around. I think the heart math people have done incredible research about people praying and meditating in certain areas and affecting crime.
Right, right.
And it is the job of light bringers to hold the light. And so I want to encourage everyone to take your attention off of the exterior world. You know, there's a philosophy I learned about when I was in Canada, which was called bioregionalism. And bioregionalism said, figure out where you are, put your roots down, and do everything you can to make your place the very best it can be. And those of us that are here in this level of consciousness with each other, that's our job. Our job is to hold hope and truth and light and to live the very best quality of life we can. And that means opening yourself to receive blessings and abundance and prosperity.
Mhm. So, so yay! I'm cheering in the background. Um, well, the journey is bumpy. So the thing that's interesting is that you may get to this level of consciousness and joy in what you're doing, and joy in your sharing your gifts, and then something kind of knocks you off. Could you talk about that? About the you're it's almost like you get knocked off your mission and then there's a long detour. Could you talk a little bit about that? Because I know in your book, Change Your Mind, Change Your Life, you're empowering people to look at that. But what about the people that they were doing great before the lockdown and they still haven't figured out how to navigate these times?
So that's a wonderful word that you use, navigate, because the reality is you have inside of yourself a GPS system. And just like the external GPS system you may have, You have to have a clear understanding of where you are and a clear understanding of where you want to be and a guidance system. And your guidance system is your intuition. Being able to become still, ask for guidance, and listen inside. And when you hear the voice of intuition, follow the intuition. Know that that guidance comes from inside of you. And as long as you're clear and honest with where you are, and that means admitting you have blocks and getting those blocks out of the way, and you're clear about where you want to be, all you have to do is follow your intuition.
So, but if you're having if you're having trouble connecting and silencing your mind, what do you suggest?
I think the easiest way, and I'm an Aries, and Aries tend to like fast, effective, efficient.
Uh-huh.
And growing up in Berkeley, I've been exposed to meditation, since I was 14, 15 years old. The fastest technique that I know of is a technique that I call mindfulness. Now, there are many things that have that name, but my particular version of mindfulness is you make a commitment for 10 minutes every single morning, every single night, total 20 minutes a day, of sitting in a comfortable position with your hands on your thighs, your eyes open, looking at something pleasant, and breathing.
Oh, that's pretty easy to do. I mean, that takes all the difficulty out of it. So, why do you think it is that we're afraid to fulfill our mission? Why do you think that there's so much resistance
I
to
think
that?
it has a lot to do with self esteem and self confidence. And I think that lots and lots of people have really wonderful spiritual gifts, but they're ashamed of monetizing them. And so they work jobs that give them no joy because they don't know how to monetize. I feel like that's part of my mission,
Yeah, me
is
too.
to bring this message
Right.
that money is good. Money is power and energy. And don't we want power and energy of society in the hands of conscious people?
Of course. That's what I think this whole time period is and why I do the show. This is my 7th year of doing this show, is that I feel that the capacity for humanity to evolve is going to come from conscious businesses turning the boat around, so that on our ship, we have equitable resources for everyone, and that people are here with their genius and aren't afraid to share their genius. And I think we're aligned a lot with that same concept.
Yes, and it all goes into this core concept of the capacity to receive.
Right. Okay.
Okay? It's like the world is filled with miracles, and source wants to support you to be the very best version of who you can be, which for me is peak performance. And in order to really be able to sustain that, you have to be open to the flow of money. And many, many people have subtle subconscious blocks about money. They have like old ideas that somehow money stands in the way of prosperity. I mean, stands in the way of spirituality. But in reality, money is a source of energy. And like all sources of energy, energy has been used negatively. But let's put that energy in the hands of people that are conscious and sensible and will do good things with it.
Exactly.
Look at Mackenzie Scott.
Mhm.
She's such a shining example of how to give away money.
Yeah.
Look at Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
She gives away incredible amounts of money.
Right, right. So what we're talking about is possibly past life or karmic lessons that we chose when we came in that may no longer serve us. We're talking about things that we may have wanted that experience, but we may have learned it or already had it and got the gems out of it, and now it's time to flow um, your gifts. And you do need money to flow your gifts. I mean, I'm always fascinated with how people start and stop when they're working sometimes with me, where I might not see them for a couple of years and then they come back and we go for it. So right now, are you seeing that the I want to go to your book a little bit. The aspects that you wrote in Change Your Mind and Change Your Life, the book that you just published, um, is that a good place for people to start, for them to identify what needs to change?
So the book was recommended by the New York Times on the 29th of December,
Hmm.
2024, which is like a miraculous thing for theoretically a first time self published author.
Yep.
But one of the things that the New York Times said in the evaluation they sent to me was the book presents complex ideas in a really simple way.
Mhm.
And it gives people easy tools and examples of people that have used these tools to eliminate anxiety, to handle stress, to lift your depression, to master your weight, to deal with your addictions. And then the last chapter is called From Burnout to Brilliance. And the idea is that when you see that this past was a story, it's not your destiny,
Perfect.
you can begin to let go of the pieces of the past that are creating blocks to you being able to find the brilliance that is inside of you and to live a rich and fulfilled life. And people that are business people in the conscious realm need to get this message.
Right, right. Well, I think that the servant leaders, a lot of the issues I see are that they're so busy making sure that their employees are evolving and doing well, and their customers are doing well, that they sometimes don't have the time or make the time to work on themselves. And that's why I really wanted people to know in this audience that these resources that Zoilita has on her website and working one-on-one with her could be just the thing that you need in 2025 to shift your and finally get your heart's desires.
I think a critical piece has to be the concept of self-care. That, it's like the old story from the airline, put on your oxygen mask first.
I know, but I think that what we've been taught is there part of what's happened, at least that I'm seeing, is that been taught there's a finite amount of energy or a finite amount of time, and so get everything else out there done. Again, it's part of receiving.
It
Um,
is, and
it
it's
is.
and it's also about whether or not you choose to live your life from the inside out or from the outside in.
Okay. Could you talk a little bit more about that? Because if you could give some examples of how you've helped people live their life in self-actualized
So,
ways, that would
so
be great.
I primarily work on Zoom.
Uh-huh.
You know, even when I have local clients, I work on Zoom because I like to make recordings of the sessions so the clients can listen to them again. But I work with a husband and wife chiropractic team in another state, and they were very good and highly educated and had good marketing, but they never had any money. And every time they got some money, some disaster would happen. Like their furnace would go out or the car would break down or something like that. So they were working with me to improve their profitability of their business. And one of the things that we discovered was they had all of these subconscious blocks against money. They both had them, that somehow rich people were not good people. And, you know, they lived on the other side of the tracks, so they weren't our people. And by using subconscious techniques like mindfulness training and self hypnosis training and hypnosis, we were able to remove all of these subconscious blocks and to help them reprogram themselves to allow prosperity to come into their lives. And their income increased 400% in 1 year.
That's fantastic. That's the kind of stories that we all are hoping for as we made our list of or our vision board or our list for 2025, because so many people again are part of the solution to creating this new earth that we all volunteered to come to do, and they need the prosperity and the courage to show up and share those concepts, and it does take finances to do that.
It does. It does. And those finances can be available to you when you open your own capacity to receive.
Exactly. That's so amazing. And how is this different when you change your mind? How is this different than people doing affirmations or watching YouTube channel Law of Attraction?
It's kind of like
Work?
the difference between stamps and tattoos.
Okay, how deep it goes, you mean?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes.
That's funny. So you're the people that you have taught how to do this kind of hypnotic coaching. So they are hypnotherapists, or
No,
are they? No, they end up being hypnotherapists,
no,
or
no,
no? Okay, could you
no.
talk about that?
Yes, like I was able to be instrumental in creating a new profession in about 2010 that is called hypnotic coaching. Hypnotic coaching is now a fully accredited profession in the hypnosis professions. So, in the hypnosis professions, you have hypnotism, hypnotherapy, and now you have hypnotic coaching.
Oh, cool.
Hypnotic coaching is a blend of the tools and techniques of the coach with the power and the punch of hypnosis. It does not do therapy. It does not do let's fix the past. It does let's create the future. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm sorry. I Facebook all of a sudden is not allowing me to comment on my own stuff. So sorry, I was getting all these things from Facebook. Changes every day. So that's the other thing, is that it seems that since the shutdown, that there's been workarounds for almost everything. The restaurant that you used to go to, the hairstylist you used to go to, everything seems to be like, okay, I don't remember anything or I don't know anything. Let's look it up before we do it. And are you finding that there's a need for a different kind of brain functioning or process functioning right now?
I think it goes really back to this part that you have to be grounded, cleared, protected at all times. Because when you're a highly sensitive person, I think you have the capacity to receive broadband telepathy. So it's not like you're getting specific messages in your mind from specific people, but all of this kind of like noise comes into your mind and it disrupts your mind and it affects your concentration. It affects your ability to get into flow states. It makes you eat more. It affects your insomnia. You know, the other day I was at my Pilates class and I was listening to some women talk, and it seemed like insomnia is a major issue.
Right, right. Well, that's, I think, part of the fear virus
Yeah.
is that people, their brain is wound up because it's trying to figure everything out, and they can't get to that calm center where love is, and reconnect and be that and long enough to sleep well. But I one of the people that I really, really love their work. I saw, and I get to talk to her, I think, today. I saw that she was asking if other healers and change agents were having ADHD like symptoms. And maybe they were also that they had that propensity to be distracted, and now it's magnetized.
Yes. You know, I have a technique that I learned from Bo Maxwell and he
Uh-huh.
does the Sage Method community.
Uh-huh.
And it's called, she calls it a GPC. And it's like being grounded, protected, grounded, cleared, protected. I add one more piece. I then take time to really connect into my own heart and connect into my spiritual guides that I experience through my heart energy.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That sounds perfect. And that sounds like something somebody can definitely take away from this conversation, that the reminder of putting on music that brings you joy or brings you calm.
Hmm.
It can even be nature therapy.
Yeah.
And then doing those kind of processes with yourself can make all the difference. So what are you seeing for 2025? I know that you just can't, you are going to be speaking again in Australia and you're teaching these classes. How do you see the world adjusting to all of these changes that we're going through?
So think about the spiral of change. It's like we're right in the middle of the spiral of change. We're in the darkest times and we're in the lightest times. And our job as light bringers is always to hold the light. And so for my personal life, I'm going to be launching a new online class called Breakthrough to Brilliance. It's a 6 week long program. It has videos, audios, has little ebooks. It's going to be a quantum leap to take people into being able to access more of their own innate genius, their own brilliance. That program is not launched yet, but it'll be launched probably in March. I'm
Wonderful.
also going to be teaching a new thing or new developed thing called contemporary shamanism when I go into Australia. And I think of it as where hypnosis meets magic. It'll have a lot of ceremony and ritual tied into it. I see 2025 as being extraordinary. But I see that it's also a time where you have to have a piece of the hermit. If you know the tarot, you have to have a piece of being able to go inside to maintain that sense of calm, because the world is going to be pretty chaotic in the outer world.
Right, right. So the what's amazing is how prolific you've been. I mean, seriously, the library of remarkable hypnosis recordings that you have on your site, as well as your book, as well as these courses, and now you're doing more courses. Do you want to share? And I don't know if people remember, we did interview not last year, but the year before, when you had actually your physical body wasn't up to par. Do you want to talk a little bit about that journey from illness to wellness?
So in April of 2023, I was in Japan on a family trip, and I had a seizure. And they discovered that I had an extremely large but benign brain tumor. Luckily, it wasn't in my brain, it was just on my brain, but it had inflamed. And I flew back to Denver in May. I had almost 6 hours worth of brain surgery. So I think it was pretty complex operation. And then I returned home, and in June, I slipped and fell and damaged my spinal cord right at my brain stem and became paralyzed in my arms and legs. And I spent 18 days in intensive care. I was in the hospital all the way till September of 2023. I was told repeatedly that I would probably never walk again. I now walk with a cane, and I intend to, by my birthday in April, to be cane free. My goal is to be able to dance, not like a ballerina, but just to be able to get up and do a little bit of dancing. I do Pilates 3 times a week. I do chair yoga twice a week. So I'm very, very physically working on my body and using the power of my mind to bring the strength of my body back. And that's what inspired me to write the book, because I realized that I was changing my life because medical professionals were telling me something that I refused to accept. And I was using the power of my mind to change it. So I decided to help other people learn that they could take the power of their mind and they could change experiences from the past and let go of them so that they could be free to be a better quality person.
Wow. So this is very much like the Joe Dispenza story, where he was in a bicycle accident and told also that he would never walk again. And he provided all these different meditations and processes. But his work is very expensive. I mean, it's almost trendy to say, "Oh, I went to a doctor."
I know. I've worked with several people who were Joe Dispenza followers.
Uh-huh. So as far as but you already discovered this when you lost all that weight, as a young girl,
Yeah,
that your mind is a is a fundamental resource. It's a
absolutely.
tool for creating your reality.
And you know what really helped me, and I do believe in the world of spirit so much. And I had an experience when I was in that intensive care unit and I was being told that I was never going to be able to walk again, where I had a dream, and in my dream Jesus Christ came, and I was in that parable of the paralyzed person by the well, and Jesus Christ looked at me in the eyes and he said, "When you are ready, pick up your mat and walk." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to heal."
Fantastic. Well, even while you were in your not quite paralyzed, but you and I did that interview in 2023, and I mean, it's night and day difference of how you are right now. That is amazing.
Yeah.
That Super cool. And what you're doing is that you can work one-on-one with people, or they can now get either the recordings that are on your site, or they can very soon do classes with you that will help their brain get out of the victimization mode or the old stories, however you want to call it, and then be empowered to be their best selves.
So, my spiritual teacher, who lives in Manchester, England, her name is Chloe Cousins, and she talks about the fact that the earth is actually in fifth dimensional reality. It's just that people aren't.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so, the more that you affirm that you are the conscious creator of your life, the more that you affirm that you are one with source. And as one with source, you are also one with your heart's desire. Think about that.
Yep.
I have a
Yes.
little phrase that I say, I am one with the source. I am one with my heart's desire. My heart's desire is for total, complete healing.
Perfect.
And
Yes.
then I just put my hands across my heart.
Yes, and it is different when you're healing with love versus fighting disease, or fighting something, which is our traditional medicine model, is to cut and drug and do all of that. But what's amazing is Zoilita even grew her hair all back,
Yes.
and it's not gray.
So when Kathy talked to me, I had to wear a wig because I had huge patches of my head that were bald. But I've been taking tons of collagen peptides. And so I do it like 2 big scoops a day. And I share a little bit of my protein drink with my cat. And my cat has the hairiest coat he ever had.
That's great. Well, see, this is what you can get if you work with Solita. You get all of these insider information that will help you actually have the energy and the enthusiasm and the excitement about things to come, because that's the other part of it, is that everything outside has been, especially in the media, it's or in most of the entertainment, it's really high anxiety producing. And once you get back to what your genius is, when you go into that space, you forget all time and space, and it's playtime.
I think
It's
that's
not
the
really
good as
work.
flow.
Yep.
You get
Yep.
into the flow.
Right, right. Well, and that sounds like what you did when you wrote your book. It sounds like it all came through with flow.
Yeah. I wrote it
So,
in 7 weeks.
wow, that's great. Yeah, no, I understand. I understand what that's like. In fact, I love the idea that you're demonstrating that at any age there's still fun projects to do, and inner creating community in a different way, because the old communities are hierarchical, and we're really now more of creating circles.
I think that's very true. Kathy, in April, I'm going to be 80 years old.
Wow,
And
that's
I just can
fantastic.
hardly believe it because I have like youth and vitality. I have good genes because my mother's 103,
Uh-huh.
but I also have great lifestyle. And I like what Mark Hyman says. He says you can live to be 120 and have your health span match your lifespan.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Well, my mother's side, they lived to 100 too. So that's when people go, "Oh, I'm this or that," and it's like they got a different perspective of life than I did. So yeah, I think we're just getting going, and that there's going to be a wonderful opportunity for the people that do have world experience and maybe the early star seeds or whatever you want to, the first wave that Dolores Cannon called us, that our experience could really help people shorten their journey to success.
That's what I'm aimed to do with my online program, is to, because people will have the materials for life, and there'll also be a community that people can belong to, and I'll do lives in the community on a monthly basis.
Wonderful.
So it gives people an opportunity to take a quantum leap.
Yep. Yep. And what we're talking about here isn't quantum leap to a different timeline necessarily. It's the quantum leap to release all the programs and the barriers that you've created for yourself to keep yourself safe, or to hide your shame, whatever those obstacles are, to release those, to get back to the core essence of your divine self. And that is, it's connecting to source, but you are source.
Yes.
And you came here with a definite mission, and it's time to do it.
Yes. And Kathy, I think it really goes into an idea of consciousness. When I think about consciousness, I think about there being 4 phases of consciousness. The first is you're unconsciously unconscious. Unfortunately, many people in America or in the world are in that state. They're just unconscious and they just don't even know it. The second phase is you become conscious of your unconsciousness. You go, oh my gosh, I just can't believe I said that, or I'm acting exactly like my 15-year-old self. The third phase, which I think many, many of us are in, is when you are consciously conscious. Okay, you are working so hard at being conscious. I think many of us are just close to slipping into the fourth phase, where we just become unconsciously conscious. We just become real and authentic and in the moment.
Perfect. Perfect. And that's where the good stuff is, because you're so at ease. It doesn't matter what the outside environment is. You're just in a comfortable uh, position to communicate and to share love, because there's no manipulation. There's no boundaries necessarily needed, because you're centered in your heart. And that is something that I think everyone's in and then out and then back in, but the opportunity is to see when you're out and get back in.
Yes, yes. And the whole concept of consciousness is then you have choice. You no
Right.
longer have reactive patterns where you're controlled by your past. You choose the life that you want.
Right, right. Well, the opportunity to be the input into consciousness that we said we wanted to be before we embodied, is still so available. And with the way the internet works and social media, there's so many opportunities to do this without a lot of expense, but it is inner work. There has to be the knowing that the best way out is in. And it's a short journey experience. Anything that's let's see how to explain it. It seems that we were taught just stuff it, as women especially, take care of everyone else, just stuff it, you can cry later. And but then it became like an onion where there's layers all around that thing you stuffed. But now it seems like you can just peel it off right away and cry for a second and it's done. And then all that space that was in the onion is free to bring in your essence, your divine essence.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, yes. So it's a very exciting time. It's not just about the astrology, which people are always talking about the age of Aquarius, but you can feel that people are getting to notice what's ethical, what's not ethical, and they're starting to realize that love is the most important thing in their life, and to share. Would you agree with that?
I think so. I think that again, you have to remember that we're in that center of the change. And so, in that center of the change, there is going to be the very big dark elements, but you cannot put your attention on them. You have to
Right,
put your attention on holding the light within and holding the hope within and
right,
creating community, creating
right.
connection.
Yes. That's what I love about everything you've done. Now, I have your site up. I don't know if you want to show anything on your site, or do you
Sure,
know?
we could show the
Okay.
front of the site.
Okay. Okay, so so that people understand the easy access they have to all of this information. So this is the front page of ZolitaGrant.com, and this explains about hypnotic coaching and a winning mindset. And then here's the cover of Zolita's book, and
And then
you
if
just
I
click on
scroll
this.
just down a little bit, scroll a
Uh-huh.
little bit. If you sign up for that newsletter where I send out with really helpful tips and tools to use, you get a mindset for prosperity MP3.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. And I'm going to show them the shop here too. And so this explains the book again, but this gives you, these are neuro meditation
Meditation.
videos, and you could explain a little bit what those are too if you want.
So neural meditations are a pretty advanced technology. I spent about 2 years studying neuroscience, and when I was in that particular phase, I developed these neural meditations, and these are open-eyed meditations where you're listening to a hypnotic process at the same time you're watching visual images. Because one of the things we've learned from neuroscience is when you combine the right words with the right images, you create greater whole brain learning.
That's fantastic. Okay, and then there's transformation meditations and or hypnotherapy sessions, and there's, I don't know, hundreds of them.
there's 20, there's 24, I think, MP3s.
Oh, that's all? It seems like there's so many. Okay. Well, all of them are amazing. They really are amazing, and I highly recommend them. They're very reasonably priced. You could try one, and then you'll see Zolita's voice is so soothing and helps you through change. I think this
So
was
this
the one I,
manifesting clients,
that's the one I've
your
used everyone.
practitioners, I would encourage you to get the manifesting clients. You can get the You Deserve Prosperity for free. So
Uh-huh.
get that one and then get the manifesting clients because those two things together can really expand your business within 30 days.
Yes, they're amazing. And so how often do you suggest to listen to these?
3 to 5 times a week.
Oh, okay. 3 to 5. Okay.
3 to 5 times
Okay.
a week.
Yeah, I love your work. So anyway, I'll stop scrolling, but I wanted people to know that there's so many ways that you can be empowered by going to Zolita's site, whether you end up buying one of her online courses that are coming up, or if you're local in Colorado, you get to go to one of her courses coming up at Unity Church. This is the time for people to really shine, and we're
So,
all rooting for you.
yes, definitely. I think it's the time for light bringers to become more light.
That's right, and they can't help but become more lights, but the idea of them having fun and getting out of worry and fear is going to magnify all of that. That's what I'm hoping. So okay. So anything else that you'd like to leave the audience with? Thank you, Zoilita. This has been wonderful as usual. I love your work and love everything you do. I hope that's coming through.
I'd like to offer an invitation. Like when you go to my site, there is a Calendly link where you can have a 30-minute consultation on a breakthrough. It's called the Breakthrough Consultation. So please sign up. I'd love to talk to you and help you on your journey.
Great. Thank you. So, and please, everyone, this is 2025. Don't forget how powerful you really are. And this is just one of the many opportunities that you could have to really fall in love with your life again and really have a spectacular year. And we're all here rooting for you, and we all want to participate and be part of your cheering section, right? So
Yeah.
thank you, Zoilita. Thank you so much. And everyone, please share this if there's people that you know that could benefit from this information. And also, if you're on YouTube, please subscribe and help others learn about this beautiful work. Thank you, Zoilita.
Thank you, Kathy.
Yes, we'll talk again soon. I'm going to go to your class, your local class.